Let's get prepping for the temperature quilt.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel and I make videos about hand sewing, English paper piecing and hand quilting. So if that's something that you're interested in, do check out my other videos. Today's video will all be about the preparation steps that I'm taking to get ready for the temperature quilt make along, which will be starting on the 1st of January 2024. It is currently that period of no man's land in between Christmas and New Year. I think it's the 28th. It could be the 29th. So what I'm going to do is start getting some fabric ready and get things all sorted, ready for the 1st of January when the temperature quilt starts. Of course, if you're watching this video later in time, you can still join in because there are ways that you can go back online and check the historic temperatures for the area that you live in, and I'll discuss that later in the video. But of course, you don't even have to start from the 1st of January for the temperature quilt. Lots of people in the Facebook group that I'm also running have said that they want to start it from their birthday. If they're having a special birthday this year, let's say that's in April, they'll start their temperature quilt from the day they was born and do it for the whole year. So I think that's a really good idea. If you are interested in joining the make along, I'll add the previous videos down in the description so that you can go back and watch those and understand the parameters of the make along, which are pretty flexible. There's no set pattern or anything like that. It's just the whole community coming together and sharing this quilt throughout the year. And it can be machine or hand sewn, English paper piecing, whichever you prefer or whichever you fancy doing. There is also a Facebook group where you can talk and share photos, so I'll leave the link for that in the description below as well. Now, I have shown you in previous videos, this is the block that I'll be making. So it's a square with a hand applique circle in the middle. So today I'm going to be prepping some of the squares and I'm going to be making some templates for the circles. If you are interested in making this particular block, I'll leave the video to that in the description because I did a little bit of a tutorial. I've also planned out the layout for my quilt, which I think, if I've just counted correctly, was 17 by 22 rows. And then that leaves me with some empty space here at the end. Now, I can't remember if when I did this layout, I did it for 365 days or 366, because I think I'd forgotten that it was a leap year till much later on. So at the bottom, to make it an even number so that I could complete the quilt, I've got these blank spaces. So I'm going to applique or embroider my initials and then the year of the temperature quilt. But if this is 365, I'll just leave off one of the blank squares either side. That doesn't bother me. And then in terms of the border on the edge, I just thought about the border actually. I think I probably will put a border and then the binding. I don't know actually, I'll have to have a look at pictures online because I don't want the binding to cover any of the applique, but that just gives you an idea of the layout. Some of the squares, some of the circles, I'm not going to do all the same size. From my kitchen, I've gathered a variety of different size circles. There's not a huge amount of difference in them, but I'll be using these items to create some templates. And I have already prepared my temperature guide. So these are my temperature increments, and then these are the colours that I bought, or those were the colours that I aimed to buy. And then here, these are the colours that I actually bought. So what I need to do is do another version of these where I actually put a swatch of the fabric next to each of the temperatures so that I can remember everything. And then I have also printed out this like record keeping sheet. I might actually put my swatches on here. So this was a printout that one of the lovely ladies put in the Facebook group, and it's a guide that was provided by Moda. I'll leave the link to where you can download this from the Moda website in the video description if you need it. And basically it gives you somewhere to put your fabric swatches and then somewhere to actually record the highs and the low temperatures for the day, just in case you fall behind. Or just in case you actually want to just keep a record, which might be quite nice. I imagine this might get quite tatty over the year, but you can always do it electronically if you want to keep it nice and neat. I have printed 2 of these so that I can give one to my sister because she's also joining in the make along. So as the year goes on, I'll try and include some footage of her quilt as well so you can get an idea, because her quilt is very different to mine. She's doing a quilt as you go block, but she's got very earth tone colours. She's actually got some blues, I think, but blues, greens, oranges, and she's gone for a lot of William Morris prints, so they are really, really nice. So I'm excited to show those. I went out and bought a storage box. I don't know why, but I decided to go on the 23rd of December to Hobbycraft. It was absolutely crazy. Not so much in Hobbycraft, that was quite quiet, but other shops around the retail park was just absolutely crazy. I don't know why I did it, but I think I thought that I wouldn't be bothered to go out, you know, this week in between Christmas and New Year, certainly shopping, especially with the sales. So I went to Hobbycraft and I bought this really good sized pink storage box. And I like these because I have some others and I know that it's going to be durable throughout the year. I wanted to get a really nice like cardboard storage box, but I just thought I'm going to be taking the lid on and off that every day of the year. It's probably going to break. So for now we've got this. I also bought this tub because I thought this will be great for putting scraps into, because when I'm working on a project I like to keep those scraps together so that then I can make something that goes with the project, maybe a cushion cover with all of my scraps, and then I've got them all together and it'll match. If I decide at the end of the project not to do anything with these coordinating scraps, I'll just chuck it in my scrap bin, but I'll keep them all together and this will be a really handy storage box. And I also bought this plastic template from Hobbycraft. So it looks like this. It comes in 2 sheets. I don't think it was that expensive. It was less than £5, but I can't remember. All these 3 items come to like £15. So you make your own templates with this. It's special textured plastic, non-slip, easy to cut your own template shape, use pen or pencil. And it's by So Easy. Lots of you recommended it to me on my templates video that I made recently. So I thought I'll use that to do the circles. I have also dug out of my stash some of these really handy IKEA bags, because I thought these would be great for storing the fabric in and just labelling, you know, 5 to 7 degrees, just so I know that that's the temperature that I need to pull from, and that's where I'll keep all of my pre-cut fabric, and it'll just keep it really nice and organised, along with my label maker. So I'll probably do that this evening, just label all of these up. I did also want to just say that I'm sorry that it's not daylight at the moment. It's sort of 3, half 3 at the moment. The daylight is dwindling. It'll be dark within half an hour. But finding the time to do this preparation, let alone filming it in the day, is a bit difficult with all the socialising and things going on. So I do apologise for that, but I wanted to get this filmed for you so that you could see the process. I was really impressed with the way that this plastic template worked. My only criticism was that the packaging was actually stapled directly to the plastic, so when I tried to remove the staples, it actually left a bit of a mark, but I just used the other end of the plastic for now. And like I said earlier, I just used my ranges of kitchen cups that I'd already selected and drew around it with a pencil and tried to cut it out as smoothly as I could, just with my kitchen scissors, not my fabric scissors. And I was largely pleased with how smooth the circles came out. I did 4 sizes in the end, and I thought that for special occasions I could use a larger circle and a smaller circle and maybe offset it, or maybe even in the centre, and do 2 circles so that it marks those special occasions. There isn't anything coming up in the beginning of the year, so I have a good few months to think about how I want to mark any special occasions in the year, but I definitely want to put snow on the quilt. Now I decided to change my rotary cutter out before I started cutting for this fabric, and oh man, I didn't even realise I needed a new blade, but the first cut of the fabric, it was like butter and I didn't even think it actually cut the fabric. So this is your sign, if needed, to change your rotary blade. It will make your cutting experience so much easier. And I've never bought a blade with one of these cases before, so I thought that would be a really good place just to put all of my old rotary blades. And of course I just marked it just in case, in case I think that that's a fresh one and it's actually not. So I cut my fabric into 4.5-inch squares. This is for the low temperatures, so essentially the nighttime temperatures. That will form the back of each square. And then for the circles, which is the high temperatures, I cut 3.25 inch because that will be big enough for me to cut the largest circle. And I didn't actually cut those into squares, I just left them as a strip because then I thought that I could utilise the fabric more efficiently and have less waste, because circles can be quite wasteful, can't they? So I'll just leave that as a strip and cut into it as and when necessary. And then I just use my label maker to label everything up. I only cut fabric up until 17 degrees because I thought that's going to see me through to probably early spring here in the UK, and at which point I'll just have a sit down again and cut some more fabric. Perhaps even by that point I might need to stock up on some more of the colours, because as I said in an earlier video, it is really hard to predict how much fabric you're going to use. So with my quilt, if there's any left over, it will certainly be colours that I'll use again in the future, so I don't need to worry too much about leftovers. So here are all of my colours bagged up. I thought that looked really nice, made me feel a lot more organised and ready to be able to just pull out as and when I need the colours. And then I just put everything into the storage box that I showed you earlier, but I just tried to put it in numerical order so that the lowest temperatures are on top, because those are what I'm going to be grabbing for earliest on in the year. And I added in all of my paperwork and templates on the top, and then it was a squeeze to get that little plastic box in, I tell you, but it got in there in the end. So it's just really going to help me. Each day I can just pick up the box and start sewing, and there's still room to include the quilt top as well. And I just wanted to show you the website here that I'll be using to keep track of the daily highs and low temperatures. You can go back pretty much for the whole year. You could probably go back even further, and it's called timeanddate.com, and I'll leave the link to this in the description box. But this is really handy and will help you monitor your highs and your lows if you don't want to go off recorded temperatures from an external thermometer, which I don't have. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video and it gave you a little bit of insight on what I'm doing to prepare for the temperature quilt. I will be uploading a video probably on the first weekend of January, so what will that be, like the 7th or the 8th? I think the 1st is a Monday, isn't it? So that you can see my progress and I can give you, any hints and tips, what's worked well for me, what hasn't, because I'm going to try and incorporate this as a daily habit so that I don't fall behind on this project, so you guys can hold me accountable for that. But thank you so much for watching. If you are enjoying my channel and you would like to support, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost anything, but it really does help me out with YouTube, pushing my video out to more people. And as always, don't forget to like the video as well. Thanks guys, bye.